Right guys, hello, another video for you all, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. It's been a while since I've said that in my YouTube videos. So it's back in December that I bought Chapter 2 Retribution, although oddly they only brought it out for the Quest 2. We didn't get the PC release simultaneously. So the less said about the Quest 2 release, the better. The game just wasn't in a fit state. There was all kinds of problems with it, which they've tried to fix with patches. So we've now got the PC release, although what I'm hearing, some people are having problems with performance, and the developers have acknowledged there's a slight issue with the shadows, set it down to medium. So in this video I'm going to focus on my system and how things are running to try and help you guys out. We'll do the playthrough on a completely separate playlist. So before we get into the meat of the video, we'll just tell you guys that I'd suggest you think of Chapter 2 Retribution as a standalone DLC. Although it's marketed as a new game, I think that's going to give your expectations are going to be too high and you'll probably be disappointed. The developers were quite generous with the free DLC for Chapter 1. If they hadn't have done that, if Saints and Sinners had come out and then we didn't get the trial and we didn't get all these other bits and pieces until Chapter 2, you might have been more willing to see it as a new game, if you know what I mean. What I have done with Chapter 1 is incorporate like this cloud save system, so you can load up Chapter 1, hopefully you'll have updated it, and you'll have an option to export your save. So it will generate a code, I think it's 6 digits with numbers and letters, and you can write that down, load up Chapter 2, do a new game, pick a profile and import, and it'll ask you to punch in that code. So I've already done that. We will load the save up. So if we start a brand new game, you will be dropped into the action pretty quickly. That doesn't last too long, and then there's just a lot of speaking. So I don't want to ruin the game for people, as I will do a completely separate playlist for that. I know some people want to avoid spoilers. What I really want to do is talk about the performance and my PC. So I'm not going to do a Quest graphics comparison to the PC because that's pointless. Everybody should realise that PCs are better than the Quest headset. You're going to get better graphics. So I have bought the Meta Oculus version of the game. It's cross-buy, so I've got the standalone version and the PC in the same purchase, which is pretty cool. So let's just head in to the options. So gameplay, I'm going to have it on standard. Nausea reduction, well, I turn the vignettes off so I don't have any of that stuff messing with my vision. Hand grip pitch offset, so I've got that at -2. It all depends what controllers you're using, what platform you're on. That's just going to tip the muzzle down of the pistol to help me look down the iron sights more naturally. Don't have to tilt my wrist as much. Play around with that setting, that will really help you aim. So we'll go into the video. So on the automatic settings, it just defaulted to put everything on ultra, which I thought was a bit ambitious for my old machine. So I automatically just turned pretty much everything down to medium, but I kept the textures up high. So the developers are saying right now to turn the shadows certainly down to medium. They've got a slight problem with that. They're trying to fix it with a patch. So keep that in mind. Anti-aliasing I've turned off because that's another way to increase performance. So we've got audio. I'm going to have subtitles on so you can see that stuff on the screen when people are speaking. The HUD, I like to turn that off because the health and the stamina bar causes God rays. I get like a glare off that through the lenses, which is distracting. So what we can do is just check our wristwatch for that, but we've got a new option which puts the vitals on the wristwatch. We can turn that on and off, so I'm going to turn that on. So what we want to do now is just quickly talk about my machine. i7 2600K. It's overclocked. If you're not a geek, all that means is I've told it to run faster at 4.4 gigahertz. I've got 32 gig of RAM and I've got a GTX 1080 Ti graphics card. Now to some of you that's just numbers and nonsense, but those of you in the know, you'll be thinking, oh my god, your machine's really quite old. But that's a good thing, because this helps people out. More modern systems, you're going to have a more powerful system. If you've got a 2070 graphics card, we're kind of in the same ballpark. Something newer will be the 3060. I can't go through all of the graphics cards and say what's like for like, because we'd be here a month of Sundays. I am using the Quest 2 and we're using virtual desktop, so I can bring its performance overlay up. So in the Oculus software on the PC, it's got this setting for resolution, so I've maxed the resolution to try and get the native resolution to get a sharper image that I see through the headset, and then I can turn settings down in game. You see my frame rate about 80 frames per second. It's going to dip a little bit because the PC is also running software to record and do the casting. As a cast, it does smooth out the head movement a little bit, which some people prefer, but you might get a little bit of a knock to the image fidelity. You see my latency is about 40 milliseconds. I may well play through the game with the Rift S. I just prefer that direct connection. Bitrate's 150 megabits per second, but it sets auto. It will use what it wants to use. Codec is H.264 because that decreases latency. We get a better experience. Although if you're on AMD cards, you want to use the other setting, the HVAC. So yeah, Quest 2, you see I've got 5 gigahertz connection. I've got a router specifically for the Quest 2 to do virtual desktop, and there's another router downstairs which is serving the rest of the house. I'm basically using the one in my room as an access point. You see I've got the 1080 Ti. Graphics quality for virtual desktop is medium. Target frame rate is 80 frames per second. I've turned Space Warp off just so it shows that the frame rate will fluctuate. If I have Space Warp on, it will always say 80. It will, if it can't maintain 80, it will do 40 frames per second and put in fake frames to make it 80. So yeah, ASW or whatever Oculus call it. But we see the frame rate dipping around. For the most part, it's running pretty well. So we've got a note there we need to read. Find us in the reserve beneath the church. So we can see I've imported my stuff. Lots of pillows there because this used to be my bed. All this stuff's got to go down into the crypt now. The flasks down there. I've got my memorabilia from Aftershocks, Chapter 1. My angel statues. My guns. So they want me to go back to the reserve. There's a couple of ways of doing this. We now have a shortcut. We have a little boat that will take us there. Or we can do it the old-fashioned way and go through the catacombs. So let's do that. That's the coffin. So down we go. So yeah, first impressions, the graphics are, even though I've turned them down a little bit, much better than what little I played on the Quest 2. So this is the way down to the church. Quite a few of you suggest that I try it out Into the Radius. They say, oh, if you like Saints and Sinners, you like survival game, you'll enjoy that. I'll do a separate video on Into the Radius, but spoilers, I didn't like it. What they do with the guns is brilliant, how they model them and how you interact with them, but the voice acting, the graphics, the level design, pretty much everything else is inferior to Saints and Sinners. I actually do enjoy this game. It's fun, and I mean, although the graphics aren't photorealistic, there's a fair amount of detail, and it does feel like I'm in the world. So I'm sure many people are going to start typing in the comments how Into the Radius is brilliant. I'm wrong, but you know, we're all allowed to like different things. This is more of an arcadey experience. Into the Radius is kind of more of like a survival sim. I wish they had kind of incorporated some of the stuff from Into the Radius into Chapter 2. I'd like to be able to work the action and, you know, eject around to recover them from pistols before I scrap them. When we have a malfunction, this just glows red, but Into the Radius, you'll actually see it stovepipe. We'll see the cartridge get jammed in the action, which is kind of cool. But it is what it is. This is the game. Let's head into the church. So yeah, we'll see how we get on, because I'm doing this wirelessly with a Quest 2. from the PC, latency is an issue. If I can keep it in the 40s, it doesn't feel too bad, but having a direct connection is always better. So I may go over to the Rift S. Some people commented on my other videos saying like your target acquisition is really good, like the way I go from one to the next. That's because I played on the Rift S. Once you start doing it wirelessly, it's like a semi-floaty experience. It's what you do with your real arms and your virtual arms catching up with you. There can be a bit of a delay there. Not saying playing it with virtual desktop is bad. I just do prefer that direct connection to the graphics card. Alright, so we're back in the reserve.
Welcome to the Revolution, tourist. I'm Sable. This is Echo. Barnes is there in the back.
Right, I know they're going to chat for a fair bit and we're going to skip as much of this as we can, but I need to talk to them to unlock the map so we can go on and do some kind of gameplay.
Revolution?
We people fed up with the times.
So obviously when I do my playthrough I won't be skipping this.
This is a coup.
Mama's made a lot.
Echo's right. People are starting to wake.
You're all talent?
There are more of us. But I guess you'd call us.
I could obviously edit it out using software before I upload it, but I'm just too lazy.
Mama's got every one of us since the reserve was a budding power. Loyal to her. Thin and...
Alright, you've convinced.
The tower, where JB used to... We think Mama's planning... She's already papering the whole... They're gonna make their move on the...
Real soon. We slow down the spread.
And instead, we give the people what they really want to hear. A new take on an old classic. Here. It's JB's last sermon.
Nice reflections on the disc.
Yet. Echo found it in an abandoned...
It's a real firestorm, too.
We need you to over the station.
Fighting propaganda.
If the tower controls all...
If we want to inspire, we can't have Mama. Then we strike. See what intel she can...
I just need the walkie-talkie so we can get on.
We need a reliable way to communicate. Timing's key, so passing notes ain't gonna cut it. Echo?
These walkies are older than dirt. Broken, pretty much. No voice capabilities. But I figured...
I'll reach out to you on the walk. But you have to beep us back. Otherwise, we won't. You better get going. Don't forget to grab that beta. She knows how to exploit the...
Right, so let's give this a mission. We can head out. See, I know I skipped through the dialogue, but it's nice that we do talk to people, and the voice acting is pretty good, which is something that the Into the Radius really let us down with. I don't want to keep crapping on that game. Right, out the door. Here's our little shortcut. It's going to take us back to the bus. So up we go. So we get the torch. We should see these beetles and rat skulls, stuff like this. Is all going to give us new materials for crafting for our extra benches. I'm not going to bother grabbing that stuff. Probably got stuff in my backpack already. Let's just unload some of this real quick. Some flares there, they're new for Chapter 2. Don't know if this still works as a bulletproof shield. Might do. Did in Chapter 1, we'll see. Right, let's grab some jambalaya. Put that in my pie hole. Right, pistol, knife, unlocks the mic. Right, that gun's in better nick. Off we go. So I said in the last video I did, repeating far too many areas for us to really class it as a new game. Had we done a different city, I would have gone, yeah, okay, fair enough, all the locations are new. But when they're recycling like 80% of the stuff, the locations, even if you can go out there at night, that doesn't class it as a new game in my eyes. Right, so she's doing a runner. So if I remember right from the lecture they were giving us down in the reserve, it's the bird lounge you want to look for. Jackpot. So we can try the door, but I've got a feeling it will be locked. Yeah. We've got our white paint, which is our subtle clue we can climb. There we go. Take the ammo. Shots ringing off. Spoon jabbed in his mouth.
Tourist. Did some recon on the best route to the station. Bourbon Street is blocked. No go. 2 ways around it. Head north on St. Peter, then slip through the back patio of the Maison, or south on St. Peter. Cut through Preservation Hall. Bingo. Blockade circumvented. Broadcast booth is up on the 3rd floor. As far as I could tell, tower isn't heading up there. Sticking to the ground floor. Weird. No clue what that's all about. Before you roll out, make sure you snag a few goodies I left behind the bar downstairs. Keep it sneaky. Barnes.
Alright, see what they left us. Alright, jackpot. It's a skiff to get us out of here. No? Love a shotgun, me. Let's get that in my backpack.
Walker in sight! Finish it quick! Advantage is ours!
He's down.
We've got no that just won't. Oh, what a pleasant surprise! The royal asshole!
Door's blocking my way. This is where we got our note from. Yeah, so far it's not playing too bad, keeping in mind the age of my machine and all the software I'm running to do the recording. Definitely plays better when I'm not recording though. Perhaps I will have to do the RFS version. Oh, goes in the hole, Hono. Is that still working? Yes, it is. Get up that way. We stop the video shortly because I'm not doing the playthrough. Just had a zombie drop somewhere. Just wanted you guys to see the game running. On my PC. Walker. Knew it was going to break sometime. It's telling me my headset's low on power, so that's definitely the end of the video. Yeah, so we'll leave it there, guys. Have a great day, have a great evening, whatever you choose to do after watching this, and as always, I'll see you when I see you next. Ciao for now.